This is Michael DeSilvis, and this is an emergency transmission tonight. I just wanted to let people know that my stepdad, Stuart, tried to kill himself tonight. I want you to be in prayer for Stuart. I want you to be in prayer for me and my family. I want you to really to know that suicide is real and that a lot of people are actually doing it, and it's really getting worse. I mean, we have the highest suicide in the whole world. We have one of the highest rates of suicide in America. And I was touching on that base a little bit earlier today in my video I put out earlier. I don't usually do 2 videos a day, but sometimes I do. But I want you to be in prayer for Stuart. He needs prayer and hope that he gets the help that he needs so he can overcome his addiction. Those who are close to the situation know what I'm talking about. And I even probably said it in some past videos way before now about it. So, but you know about it, please be in prayer for him at this time. Stuart, I do believe, has hit rock bottom. He is in Washington police custody, and they're going to put him in a mental facility. At least I hope they do, because that's where he really needs to be tonight, so he doesn't try to. He's probably going to be on suicide watch for 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72, depends on how bad it is. So please be in prayer for him, because maybe this is a way so he can get help to overcome that addiction, because he's really needed help for a long time, and maybe this will be the key to do that, our vehicle. Please also be in prayer for New Hunter Church of Christ, and also I pray that you'll subscribe down below and share this far and wide, and know that suicide is a serious but yet real thing. It does happen to people. You may think you're in a bubble and you may think it doesn't happen, but when people say they're going to kill themselves, a lot of times they really will one day do it. So don't take that as a grain of salt if someone's made that statement to you, like a teenager or an adult. But sometimes people at the same time never really do go through with it. But there are most of the time people do. So if you hear somebody say, well, I'm going to just kill myself, and they're really serious about it, you need to take it seriously and call the police. There's nothing wrong with doing welfare checks on people. That's what my mother did tonight. And they found him in there, and he was in pretty bad shape. I mean, he tried to cut the top of his arm. He's got a big old sore on his arm, and he was bleeding rather profusely. My mom was able to get him just in time. And I don't really like to tell this stuff on the video, but I think it needs to be shared because this is a learning tool. And I think, I'm trying to help Stuart, and I'm hoping that people will rally and pray for him tonight. I think, his soul, I mean, he said that he doesn't want to, he says that he's going to be with Satan tonight. Just because I think he really hit rock bottom is what he was saying. I really need help. I can't do this alone. I need more help than what I'm trying to do myself. These demons have got me whipped, and I can't do this anymore. And I think that's what he was trying to say tonight when he did what he did tonight. And sometimes people will act out and they'll lash out in certain ways before it leads up to that. So it's important to kind of watch people, but then sometimes, a lot of times, suicide happens without any warning signs at all. They could be a normal person, and then one day they're dead, because there's no signs of it, because they hide it really well. A lot of people that do repress, have depression, tendencies or anxiety, tend to hide things like that really well. It's like, it's just, that's what some people do. And that's why you can't always see it. And, like I said, if you had that happen to your family, you feel like, it was your fault, but really, essentially, it's not your fault, because you don't know. And nobody has the answer. Even experts can be fooled because of the signs at times, because they're not always shown on the surface where you can visibly see them or get warnings. But some people do give you warnings, and you need to not ignore those when you see them. A warning could be that they, if they're extroverted and then all of a sudden they become inverted, meaning, like they're around people and then they're all to themselves and they shut themselves off and they stop going to events. That's a sign that could be a trouble coming in the future. Another sign could be that they just want to push people out of their lives or push people away. They want to be withdrawn from friends or people or family members, or estranged from everybody and just be to themselves all the time. That's another sign that could be leading to suicide, but not in some cases it could be, but it also could be systemic of other problems too. Um, and like I said, sometimes a lot of people that do this, commit suicide, don't always show signs at all until it happens. And then, you just didn't know. And then you want to think it's your fault, and it's not your fault. Because what happened tonight with my stepdad is not my mom's fault. It's not my fault. It's not anyone's fault. But that was his way of crying for help. The Lord didn't want him to die tonight, evidently, because help was there. My mom was able to get help there in the nick of time. Thank God for that. I love Stuart, and I really think a lot of him. I know he has a bad soul right now, but we need to pray for him. We don't need to spread things around everywhere. We just need to pray for him. I ask everybody that watches this video that they use it as a learning tool, and and try to learn and try to be a source of help with people in your family that may have had this happen, or someone where it may have happened, or you may have signs where you see visible signs where they're withdrawing, self-withdrawing, and getting away from people, or cutting people off in their life, or they're being real argumentative, or lashing out, or attacking people for no reason apparently at all, or making things up, or they just have an excuse and they just want to be left to themselves. And some people, that's how some people do act, but that's not always in all cases. So just because I give you some of the facts of what to look for in a victim doesn't mean it always applies to everybody, because everybody's different. But that could be the case. But it could be other things too that also exhibit that. Depression. If they have depression issues, most of the time people do have contemplated, or have contemplated means they have thought about suicide, or they have tried to commit suicide, or they actually have done it, or they are thinking about doing it. So if you know someone that has depression, that's someone you need to watch out for, out of love. Not saying they're crazy or anything, but just make sure you check on them. Maybe hang out with them. Maybe, just kind of be there for them. Talk to them. Talk with them. Talk with her. And try to help them. And try to be there as an open arm, as a conduit, a voice box, so because what you say and what you do by being there, you might have saved their life and you don't even know it. You might have just did that tonight, or yesterday, or when you do it. So, remember, if, you're dealing with anxiety and depression, these are things, some clues on how to point to that, but that doesn't always mean that's the case for every person that has depression. Because if it's well managed, suicide never happens. But most people think about it from time to time, but they, that have depression, but when they do think about it, they really do act it out if they hit rock bottom. So, but sometimes, if it's well managed, it doesn't happen. It's just that if people aren't on medications, maybe they should be on medication. I'm not saying that's the case with Stuart, but to balance out him mentally. I'm not saying he needs medication, but he does need therapy and counseling. But I've said that for years to my mother. And, I think the world of him. I mean, I still love him. And I know he's had this demon, this temptation, this addiction he's been battling with for ever since he was a young boy, since his early teenage years. And I know that hopefully this door will be a conduit to help him get the help to get that treatment that he needs. That's my prayer. Then anyway, just be with Stuart tonight, Lord. Help him, and know that my mother still loves him, and know that we're here for him. We haven't left him on the side of the road or dumped him at the gate. No, we're still here, but we need him to be serious and grow up and really take responsibility and own up and own to what he did, and own to what the addiction is, so he can get the treatment and therapy to help him overcome it victoriously, like the Bible talks about, being a champion for Christ and overcoming it, and renouncing the devil's plots and plans. And help him, Lord. Help him, Jesus. In your name I pray. Beautifully in your name. Amen. So, just remember to watch out for your friends and family that may have mental problems or may have depression or anxiety issues. It's always important to check on them, especially around the holidays and the years, like Christmas and New Year's especially, and Valentine's Day. Any holidays, just make sure you just call them up, just say hi, and just kind of touch base with them and take some time and have a conversation with them, maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, Maybe take them out to dinner. Maybe take her out to dinner if it's a girl. Take them shopping or something. But just make sure always check on people that have depression, and always check on your elderly people during hot days. This is Michael DeSilvis. I hope this helps people. Please pray for Stuart. We love him. I know a lot of people do. Take care, and God bless everyone. And I'll have some more updates in the future. This is Michael DeSilvis from New Hunter Church of Christ. Take care.